Hey everybody, it's Paige Mosley back with Golden Words Blog. Today we're going to be talking about toxic relationships. So let's go ahead and let that intro play and get into it. But I'm going to just talk to y'all and let you know kind of what's on my chest. Alright. Okay, so y'all, first off, I want to let y'all know what I went through recording this video. I recorded this video. I took like 3 different takes. That usually doesn't happen to me. Usually I can record the video in one take, edit it, boom, upload it. I had got a really good take. Somehow half of the video ended up in slow-mo and it was just a hot mess. I just want y'all to know the devil is busy and he did not want me to put this information out here. But still, I did for y'all because I love y'all. Because I was just like, ooh, they not getting the video this week. Y'all, I can't. But let's get into toxic relationships. So, all right. So I want to first off say that toxic relationships do not just come in romantic form. They come with friends, they come with our jobs, and they come with our family, which is usually the hardest to realize because our family is our family, right? So I wanted to just put that out there. I won't just be speaking on romantic. So I'm just going to start off with saying any types of these relationships, whether it's families, friends, work, romantic, what I always ask y'all, is this situation bringing you more pain than gain? I'm going to say it one more time. Is this situation bringing you more pain than gain? And before I speak on, I want to ask y'all these questions just while I'm speaking. You can kind of let these marinate and maybe y'all can answer them in the comments if you feel comfortable. So the first question is this situation bringing you more pain than gain? The second question is, are you communicating the way you want to be communicated towards? Are there certain things that you can do different in these relationships? Have you created boundaries? Next, have you took the time out to create a relationship with yourself personally? Have you tried to perfect that relationship with yourself? Are you studying self-care? Are you putting yourself first? Are you treating yourself the way you need to be treated so it sets an example of how you want to be treated? Because if anyone is treating you less than you already treat yourself, you're not going to take that. Again, next question. Have you created healthy boundaries? That's a big one that I had to learn with family, friends, romantic people that I was talking to, I guess. I had to create boundaries to where certain things are starting to make me feel a certain way, and I just kept allowing it, and it started to impact me more than I felt that it impacted them. So I had to create boundaries because I no longer wanted to feel sad. I no longer wanted to let another person dictate or define how my day went. So I had to set some boundaries. Last but not least, is this relationship healthy for you? What is it doing for you that you have to keep it? Is it straining you more than it is bringing you, love? Like, just think mentally, physically, spiritually, what is it doing for you? Is it healthy for you? Is it hindering you more than it's benefiting you? Exactly why I always say, is this situation bringing you more pain or gain? That's the part where y'all say it, but I forgot I can't hear y'all. So let's do a little bit. So with family toxic relationships, honestly guys, I'm going to be the one to say it. We learn, and a lot of who we are comes from how we are raised. No, it doesn't define us because we can change certain things that we learn. We can rewire ourselves and we can be like, that wasn't right, or I didn't like the way mama did that, or I didn't like the way my daddy did certain things. I want to be different with my kids. I wanted to be different with just relationships, period, in our life. So a lot of what we see growing up is what, we can bring into our adult life. Do we have to? No. It's our life. We have the opportunity to do things differently. We have the opportunities to communicate with people if we weren't communicated towards. We have the opportunity to change the whole ball game. It's our life. We can define it. Our past does not define us. It can't impact us, but we can change it. Friends are very they're just like family. So it's harder to get rid of or to think about even leaving a friendship or, you know, the relationship that you have with your parents. But I want y'all to understand what leaving and creating boundaries with any type of relationship, toxic relationship, mean. It doesn't mean that you're gonna dislike that person. You're not gonna even have any animosity towards that person, whether it's friends, family, romantic. It's just putting yourself first and being like, this relationship not bringing me no gain, it's just bringing me pain. It's putting yourself first, because like I said, we have to set an example for ourselves. If I'm treating myself amazing, like a queen, I'm not gonna let anybody treat me less than that, because I know my worth, I know what I deserve, and I want to treat somebody the same way I expect someone to treat me. And that's what I say, it's not just one-sided. We can't expect for people to do all these different things for us, and we're not willing to do the same. So you have to think about that. Another thing about family and friends, toxic relationships wise, they're very hard to get rid of, because we're always thinking like, well, that's my family, or that's my friend, like they've been here for me. But certain things down the line have questioned whether or not they deserve those titles, even family. And like I said, it's not that you're throwing salt on their name, it's just more so of saying, I need to take a step back, or I need to make sure this is working for me, because it's not making me feel good. Simple as that. And that's just with any type of relationships, because we want to create healthy relationships. Now, sometimes toxic relationships with communication, time away, can turn into healthy relationships once both parties of the relationships realize that there's work to be done. But toxic relationships can be toxic, where toxins, we get rid of them because they don't benefit us, they hurt us. So you just really have to think about that. Romantic is something, romantic is what people think of automatically when they think of toxic relationships. So let's just go ahead and get into it. The big thing with romantic relationship, what I have learned from myself, is in past romantic, not even relationship, but just more so me getting to know somebody and talking to them and getting to the point where I could be like, hey, I can date this person, is I found a lot of qualities in those people that I didn't really get at home. So I held on to those great things that person had, those great qualities that person had, but I was ignoring all the red flags at the door. Why? Because I was starting to have a feeling like I had never felt before. I was in love. I no longer had put myself first. I was more so thinking of that person. And like I've mentioned to you guys before, naturally I am a caregiver. Naturally, I'm just a huge emotional lover. Like, I just want to love people. And sometimes it's not always received back. And just because certain people are doing certain things right, it's not okay for us to ignore all those red flags at the door. If that person's not trying to commit to you but wants to do committed relationship things, you're out completely. If that person is belittling you, calling you out your name, that person is not treating you like a queen, if that person is not treating you like a king. Guys, if you're just dating a girl and she's clearly just with you for certain things that you can do for her, and you feel like you're not really benefiting from this girl, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just things that you can buy, but is this person helping you grow as a person? Spiritually, where are you? Mentally, where are you? Can you go to that person? Do they make you feel okay? It's just not just about the physical stuff, which sometimes we get lost into, which a lot of times toxic relationships, as far as romantic, they can really, that physical aspect, as in sex, that can be the brick that's holding you down, because that person can have like that bound on you. So just be careful of that, especially in romantic relationships. But in all of these, is the situation giving you more pain than gain? Last but not least, jobs. Yes, your job can be toxic. I've had a couple of them. If you're going to work every day, and not just because you don't feel like waking up in the morning, because a lot of times we all go to work and feel like, oh, I don't want to do this today, I gotta deal with them, but it goes much further than that when we speak on toxic. If you're going to work and you just feel down. You're not necessarily, there's things you disagree with in the workplace. You feel like this is not a good fit for you. Most important, it's just not a good fit for you. But you feel like, I gotta pay my bills, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. Guys, when y'all start to feel this way about a job, and these feelings are happening every day, oh, I hate it here, I don't want to do it, it's not just because you lazy and don't feel like going to work. There's some things going on at work that are just eating you up inside, and you're like, I don't want to be here. It's just not the place for you. Because a lot of times we spend half of our life at work, which is what I'm trying not to be. I can't work a 9 to 5, y'all. Even when I become a therapist, I cannot do that all day. I can't. But what I'm saying is, half of our time spent is usually at work. So if we go to work, have a bad day because we just don't want to be there, not because necessarily something happened, but it's just something ain't right and it's making you feel bad, we bring that stuff home, and we can bring that home into our relationships that we just talked about. We can bring that home to our sisters, our mama, and they ain't even did nothing to us. We can bring it home to our partners. He trying to figure out why you mad, and he just cooked a full course meal. You're not feeling it because you was at the hellhole all day. Like, all of these really can tie into each other. They can be building blocks about what's going on, or it can be building blocks into creating more commotion and darkness into all these other relationships. Like, they can go into each other. So jobs, I say, is a big one, because your job, a lot of times, like I said, I'm not trying to do this, but it's your second home. So you spend half of your time then. If you're in a horrible mental state every time you are there, baby, it's time to go. And I understand, especially with Corisha out here, that's Corona, y'all, that's what I call her, it's hard to find a job right now. And I'm not saying to just go out and quit your job, but if your job is honestly straining you, it's making you mentally ill, y'all, physically, like, you take the time to go find a job. And you know, and that's what I'm saying, when you start to feel these different things, I suggest that you go on and start. The best time to look for a job is when you have one. My boss told me that. That's the best time. In case they want to act up, or in case you just like, this is not a good fit with me, which is fine. We don't owe our jobs anything. Use that PTO. Use that sick time. Because, like, at the end of the day, they're going to replace you if you gone anyway. Treat them the same way. That's your time. Work for it. Within that time, be looking for a job. Like, y'all, that can be a whole video. Like, we're not going to get into it. But like I said, toxic relationships come in many different forms. And a lot of times we just feel like we have to hold on to these relationships because they're familiar to us. Like, we don't, I know change in general can be very scary, but especially within relationships. Like, we get so used to something. We get so used to people that we don't necessarily want it to change. That sometimes can ignore all these big things that are happening in front of us, and we're just like, no, I'm comfortable. Well, like, we just kind of put it on the back burner, and we don't realize that we get burnt, and it gets to the point where you got a first-degree burn, and you're like, okay, how the hell do I get from this situation? How do I get out of this job? How do I get away from this man, this girl? How do I let a friendship go? How do I tell my parents, my sisters, my friends that we can't be how we usually are, because it's hurting me and I'm not benefiting from it. It's not bringing me any gain, just pain. So y'all, I'm gonna go over the questions one more time because I just really want y'all to think about it. Is this situation bringing you more pain than gain? Are you communicating the way that you want to be communicated towards? Are there things that you can do different? Because listen, relationships, any type of relationship, the ones we talked on today, they're not just one-sided. Usually there's things that we can do, but once we've done our part and tried to level everything out, and if it's still not working out for us, that's another sign that we need to chuck up the deuces and let's go. That's another sign. Another one, have you took the time out to build a relationship with yourself? Have you? Self-care. I need to do a full video on that. Self-care is very important, y'all. Listen, like I said, we won't let anybody treat us less than what we treat ourselves. Okay? Put yourself first. That's not selfish at all. Again, are you creating healthy boundaries? This is very I mean, all aspects, but for me, family and romantic is really where I had to set some boundaries, because people kept stepping over a line and I was letting them. So I was the one getting hurt. I was the one being strained. So I had to create those boundaries to where when a person starts to get close to it, I know, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I got to go. Got to blast. Like, that's what you have to do. Create those healthy boundaries. And it's not for them, it's for you. So if they feel some type of way about it, they have to deal with it. And we all have to deal with our own stuff, and they could have something else going on. Another thing with toxic relationships, guys, I want y'all to realize, if you are in a situation where someone is becoming toxic to you, and I know it's kind of hard to look at it this way, but a lot of times, like I said, we learn from home, learn from growing up. A person wasn't just born toxic, okay? A person wasn't just born, vindictive or just miserable. A lot of times they went through things that have made them this way, but guess what? They didn't put in the time to create the boundaries and put themselves first. And that's really what I want to just set a huge platform right now. And so we don't end up into that place where we really are toxic and we can no longer identify it. And even if we are in that situation where we are becoming toxic to somebody, or we say like, all right, maybe I am toxic, it's never too late to stop being it. It's just we have to recognize it and change it. It's never too late, y'all. Like, never too late. Like, sometimes you can burn bridges with people depending on how you treat them, but it doesn't define how you treat that next person. You learn from what you did in the past. I have toxic traits that I am still conquering, because sometimes I can just shut down and I don't think about anybody. I don't think about how someone else can be affected by that. And that's not fair to people who care about me. And that's something that I am working on for myself. But a lot of times, guys, just to end this, a lot of times we have to start with ourselves, because once we start with ourselves, we can identify like things that we could do differently or things that we have done in the situation. But like I said, once you have done your part, you evaluated it, you've done what you changed, you had a conversation with that person or this situation, because your job, you can have a conversation with your boss or whatever you find that problem to be. Once you've done that part and it seems like things are still not right, that is when you just have to let go. Because you've tried to, kind of put a band-aid on it, and you've tried to, because like I said, we hold on to things for a reason. And sometimes, like, guys, relationships aren't going to be perfect. You're going to have up and downs in all different types of relationships, but the relationship's not supposed to be 95% down. It's not. You should not feel miserable in your relationships. You're going to have times when you need to take a break, or take a break meaning take a walk, not a break, but you have times where you need to get a fresher breath air, but it shouldn't be to where you're down and out a lot. Majority of the time, it should not. So just think about those questions I asked y'all. And like I said, if you're comfortable, a lot of them are yes and no questions, but if you're comfortable, go ahead and just, put your responses on the comment section. And I think I'm going to go ahead and fill it out, because I can relate to all of those what I just spoke on. So I really hope y'all got something out of this. I did it, and it looks like 19 minutes. This could have been an hour long, but I was like, these people is not going to be engaged for that long. But I can do a part 2 if you guys really like this one. I just wanted to go in and hit it and just get some information out there. Romantic relationship, guys, that is a whole video by itself. So maybe I'll do one on that one, because that's going to be hitting home for me. So I thank y'all for watching. I really hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share to somebody that you think needs to hear this, or share to somebody you think you could just benefit from it in general. Who needs to hear some golden words? So I really appreciate y'all, and y'all have a great one. But I'm going to just talk to y'all and let you know kind of what's on my chest.